Tonight, you find yourself standing before an old medieval castle. Its walls rise slowly into the night sky, thick stone, worn by centuries of wind, rain, and time. The air is cool and carries the faint scent of damp earth and distant wood smoke. Above you, the moon hangs quietly, round and pale, resting in a deep blue sky. There is no urgency here, no danger, no expectation, only stillness. You step forward, slowly. Your boots touch the gravel path, and the sound is soft, barely louder than a whisper. Ahead, the great wooden doors of the castle stand slightly open, not wide, just enough, as though someone, long ago, forgot to close them fully. You do not rush. There is no need to rush. The night is patient. The castle has waited for hundreds of years. It can wait a little longer for you. You place your hand against the old oak door. The wood is cool, rough beneath your fingers. Iron hinges rest heavy and silent, and with the gentlest push, the door moves, slowly, with a low, quiet, wooden sigh. Inside, the air is warmer. Dim torchlight flickers along the stone corridor. The walls are thick, made from uneven gray stone blocks. Some are smooth with age, others still rough, their edges softened by time. The corridor stretches ahead, long and calm. Torches rest in iron brackets. Their flames move lazily, casting shadows that sway gently. Back and forth, back and forth. There is no one here, no guards, no servants, only the faint echo of your breathing and the distant sound of wind brushing against the outer walls. You begin to walk, each step slow, measured. Your footsteps echo softly, not sharp, but rounded, like the corridor itself. When you're half asleep, the ceiling arches above you, curved stone ribs meeting overhead. Somewhere, a faint draft moves through the hallway. It carries the scent of old stone, burning torch oil, and something ancient, something steady. You pass a narrow window. The glass is uneven, slightly clouded. Moonlight slips through in a pale ribbon. Dust particles float lazily within the beam, turning slowly, like tiny drifting stars. Nothing disturbs them. Nothing rushes them. Further down the corridor, a wooden door stands closed. Heavy iron handle, dark with age. You do not open it. Not yet. There is time. There is always time here. The castle is not alive with activity. It is resting, and you are simply walking through its quiet breath. Your fingers trace along the stone wall. The surface is cool, solid, unmoving. This castle, he has seen winters and summers, feasts and empty halls. But tonight, it sees only stillness, and you, walking gently through its sleeping corridors. May you continue down the corridor, slowly, as if your steps are carefully placed, so the castle can remain asleep. The torches, their flames small and steady, make the stone walls glow in warm patches. Between those patches, the shadows rest, deep and soft. A gentle hush fills the air. Not silence exactly, because silence can feel sharp. This is a softer thing, a quiet that feels padded, like thick cloth. You pass another narrow window. Outside, the night is calm, and the courtyard below is barely visible. A dark shape of stone, a suggestion of old paths, and perhaps a silent tree. The moonlight touches the top of the wall and leaves the lower stones in darkness. Your breathing remains slow, in and out, in and out. You notice the corridor turns slightly, not a sudden corner, but a gentle bend. The castle does not make harsh angles here. It prefers gradual things. As you round the bend, you see a long wooden table placed against the wall. It is not decorated, not prepared for anything. Just a simple table, dark wood, polished by years of use. On it, an iron tray and a single clay cup, empty. Nothing more. Still, it feels comforting, like proof that someone, at some time, sat here quietly. Perhaps a servant, waiting. Perhaps a guard, resting. Perhaps someone holding a lantern. You do not take the cup. You only look at it, and then you move on. Your fingertips drift across the tabletop, feeling the smoothness, the tiny dents, the faint scratches. Each mark is small and tells nothing dramatic, just ordinary life, ordinary nights, ordinary hands. You keep walking, and as you do, the air changes slightly. It becomes warmer, as if, somewhere ahead, a fire is still alive, not roaring, not bright, just alive. A slow warmth, like a quiet heartbeat. You hear something else now, very faint, a soft crackle, so far away, it could be imagined, but it returns, again. A tiny snap, a gentle pop, wood settling in flame. You let the sound guide you, not quickly, just steadily. The corridor opens wider, the ceiling rises, and the torchlight spreads. Across a larger space, you find yourself before an archway, a tall stone arch, its edges carved simply. No intricate decoration, just strong stone, shaped by careful hands. Beyond it, a larger hall waits, the Great Hall. But tonight, it is not filled with voices. No laughter, no clinking plates, no music, only the dim glow of embers, somewhere inside. You step beneath the arch, and the air feels different, more open, more spacious. The great hall is wide and long, stone floor beneath you, smooth in some places, worn in others. At the far end, a large fireplace, its mouth dark, its stone frame heavy. Inside, a bed of coals still glows, red and orange, not bright enough to light the hall fully, but bright enough to make it feel inhabited, like someone tended it earlier and then quietly left. Above the fireplace, an old tapestry hangs, its colors faded, a scene of forest and river, perhaps, or knights and horses. But in this low light, it is only shapes, soft shapes in cloth. You stand still, just for a moment, and you listen. The castle has a sound, not a loud sound, a sound made of tiny things, a beam settling, far above, a draft slipping through a crack in stone, the gentle breath of fire, and your own quiet breathing, in and out, in and out. You begin to walk across the great hall. Your footsteps are even softer here, because the space is so wide, the echo does not bounce sharply. It drifts and fades. You pass the long wooden tables. They stand in rows, empty, their surfaces dark and smooth. Benches tucked beneath. Everything orderly, everything calm. No plates, no cups, no crumbs, just quiet furniture, waiting, waiting, as it has waited countless nights. You move closer to the fireplace, and the warmth meets your skin. Not sudden, not intense. A gentle warmth that seems to rise slowly, as if it is stretching after resting. You look at the coals. They glow softly. Some are brighter, some are dim. A few small tongues of flame appear, then disappear, like slow breaths. You could sit here. You could rest. But for now, you simply stand and let the warmth settle into you. The great hall smells faintly of old wood and stone and smoke that has lived in these walls for years, a smell that is calm and familiar, even if you have never been here before, because warmth and fire and shelter are ancient comforts, and this castle, even in its quietness, still offers them. You notice a set of stairs to the side, stone steps leading upward, a spiral staircase, the tower. You do not feel curious in a sharp way, only in a gentle way, like drifting rather than searching. You walk toward the staircase, one step, then another. You place your hand on the stone wall. The stairs curve slowly, and you begin to climb. Not fast, never fast. The stone steps are cool and slightly uneven, worn by countless feet, countless quiet climbs, up and around, up and around. The torchlight here is dimmer, but you can still see the curve of stone, the narrowness, the feeling of being held by the thick walls. You reach a small landing, a tiny window. Moonlight slips in, pale and clean, and beyond it, the world is quiet. Fields, forests, distant hills, all softened by night. You could stay here, just looking, but your eyes feel heavy, not from exhaustion, from calm, from steadiness, from the slow rhythm of the castle. You continue upward, up and around, up and around, and at last, you reach the top, a wooden door, simple and sturdy. You rest your hand on the iron latch. It is cool, and you open it, gently. The door swings inward, and you step into the tower room. The room is small, round, stone walls curving around you. A single chair sits near the window, and a small table, and on the table, a candle, already burning, its flame tiny, steady, as though someone lit it and then quietly left. The window is narrow, but it frames the moon, large and bright. You sit in the chair, slowly, letting your body settle. The wood beneath you creaks softly, then stillness. The candlelight flickers, the moonlight rests, and the castle continues its gentle quiet. You breathe in and out, in and out, and you let your thoughts soften, like the mist outside, like the glow of the coals, like the slow flame of the candle. Then you remain near the fireplace, standing quietly, watching the last embers breathe. The great hall is wide and mostly shadow. The ceiling beams stretch high above, dark wood crossing slowly in the torchlight. Nothing moves quickly here. Even the fire moves slowly. A coal brightens, then dims. Another soft crackle, then stillness. You take a slow step toward one of the long wooden tables. Your fingers brush across the surface. Cool now. Earlier. Perhaps it held plates. Perhaps bread. Perhaps warm stew in heavy bowls. But not tonight. Tonight it holds only silence. You walk along the table's edge, slowly, your footsteps nearly disappearing into the stone floor. The benches rest beneath, tucked neatly, as though the hall itself tidied before sleeping. You pause and listen again. The castle is never truly silent. There is always something, a faint settling of stone, a distant whisper of wind in the chimney, the slow breathing of old wood beams. You move toward the tall windows, narrow and arched. Moonlight spills through them, soft and silver. It falls across the stone floor in pale shapes, like quiet pools of light. Dust drifts lazily in the beams, turning slowly, never in a hurry. You stand inside one of those pools of moonlight, and for a moment, you feel neither outside nor inside, just still, just resting. The fire behind you glows faintly. The moon before you glows softly. Two lights, one warm, one cool, balanced. You turn back toward the fireplace, and slowly, carefully, you sit upon one of the benches. The wood creaks gently beneath you, then settles. Your hands rest loosely in your lap. Your shoulders relax. You are not waiting for anything. You are not expecting anything. You are simply here. The embers continue their quiet rhythm. Glow, fade, glow, fade, like breathing. In and out, in and out. And without noticing when it happens, your thoughts begin to stretch and soften, like the shadows on the wall, longer, gentler. The hall feels larger now, but also warmer, as if the castle has accepted your presence and is content to let you rest. After some time, you rise again, not because you must, but because movement here feels natural, slow, unforced. You walk once more to the spiral staircase. The stone steps wait quietly, upward and around, upward and around. Your hand rests against the wall as you climb, the surface cool, solid, unchanging. The staircase narrows slightly, holding you gently, like the inside of a shell. You climb without hurry, each step placed softly, echoing just a little, but not sharply. The air grows cooler as you rise, and quieter, as though the upper rooms are deeper in sleep. You reach a wooden landing. A small door stands half open. Inside, a simple chamber, a narrow bed, straw mattress, wool blanket folded neatly, a small chest at the foot of the bed. Nothing more. No decoration, no excess, just what is needed. You step inside. The air smells faintly of linen and stone. Moonlight slips through a tiny window, falling gently across the blanket. You touch the fabric, rough but clean. You do not lie down, not yet. You simply stand and feel how still the room is, still enough that your breathing feels loud, in and out, in and out. You step back into the corridor and continue along the upper passage. Another door, another quiet chamber, a wooden chair, a small desk, an unfinished letter, perhaps, though the ink has long since dried. The quill rests where it was left, frozen in time. You do not read the letter, you only observe, because tonight is not about stories of others. It is about stillness and rest. You close the door softly and return once more to the spiral stair, descending, now, downward and around, downward and around. The castle seems even quieter than before, as if your slow walk has lulled it deeper into sleep. At the base of the stair, you turn toward another corridor, one that leads lower, toward the kitchens. The air changes again, warmer once more, but without flame, without active heat, just the memory of warmth. You step into the kitchen hall. Large wooden tables line the center, heavy cutting boards, iron hooks along the walls. Empty now, copper pots hang from beams, their surfaces dull in the low light. You hear no bubbling stew, no clatter of dishes, only the faint hum of night. A single lantern glows softly in the corner, its flame small, steady. You walk past the long preparation table. Your fingers glide across its surface. Here, countless meals were prepared, countless loaves sliced, countless vegetables chopped. But tonight, nothing moves. A wooden spoon rests beside an empty bowl, as though someone paused mid-task and never returned. You lift the spoon slightly, then set it down again, gently. You move toward the stone hearth, cold now, ashes pale and quiet. No embers here, just the soft scent of long-faded smoke. You sit on a low stool and let the quiet settle around you. The kitchen feels different from the hall, smaller, more grounded, more intimate. The walls closer, the ceiling lower. You can almost imagine the warmth it once held, the murmurs of cooks, the rhythm of daily life. But tonight, there is only stillness, and your slow breathing, in and out, in and out. The lantern flickers once, then steadies. Like a tired eye blinking, you rest there for a long while, not counting time, not measuring moments, just allowing the night to continue. After some time, you rise from the low wooden stool. The kitchen remains still behind you. The lantern glows faintly, but you leave it as it is. You move back through the corridor, slowly, your steps unhurried. A narrow wooden door ahead leads outward, toward the courtyard. You push it gently. It opens without resistance, and cool night air meets you, soft and calm. The courtyard is wide, surrounded by high stone walls. Above, the sky stretches dark and deep. The moon hangs slightly lower now, casting silver light across the stone ground. You step outside. Your boots touch the uneven cobblestones, each stone shaped by time, rounded at the edges, smooth in places, rough in others. A well stands in the center of the courtyard, simple, circular, with a wooden beam above it. The rope hangs still, the bucket resting. Quietly, you walk toward it, not because you need water, but because it stands there, waiting. The air smells faintly of damp stone and distant grass beyond the walls. A breeze moves slowly across the courtyard. Not strong, just enough to brush against your cloak. It moves the fabric gently, then fades. The banners high above, fixed along the inner walls, hang nearly motionless, only the faintest ripple. You tilt your head upward, looking at the towers, their outlines dark against the sky, tall, silent, unmoving. The castle feels different from outside, more ancient, more still, as if it belongs to the earth itself. You walk slowly along the courtyard edge. Your footsteps echo softly now. Open air changes the sound. It spreads it thinner, less contained. You pass a small wooden door set into the wall, leading, perhaps to stables or storage rooms, but you do not open it. There is no need. Tonight is not about discovery. It is about drifting. You stop near the well and rest your hand against the cool stone rim. It feels solid, grounded, timeless. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and listen. The night carries subtle sounds. A distant owl, very faint. The rustle of leaves beyond the walls. The slow whisper of wind across stone. And you're breathing, in and out, in and out. The rhythm matches the stillness. Nothing pulls you forward. Nothing urges you on. You are simply present, in the center of an old courtyard, under an old moon, inside an old castle, and everything feels steady. You walk once more across the open space, slowly circling, as though tracing the quiet perimeter of the night. The moonlight, which shifts slightly as clouds drift lazily overhead, not covering it fully, just softening it. The courtyard grows dimmer for a moment, then brighter again. Light and shadow exchange places gently, like slow breathing. You feel your shoulders relax further. Your thoughts become softer, less defined, like mist. The castle walls rise high around you, protective, solid, comforting in their thickness. No sound of battle, no echo of footsteps, no urgency. Only the peaceful weight of stone, holding the night inside. You return to the wooden door and step back into the corridor, leaving the courtyard to rest, as it has rested for centuries. From the corridor, you turn toward a smaller passage, narrower, more secluded. At the end of it, a simple wooden door, slightly arched. You push it open gently and step into the chapel. The air here feels cooler, still. The stone walls curve upward into a vaulted ceiling, high above, barely visible in the dim light. A few candles burn along the side walls, their flames small, steady. Before you, wooden benches, simple, worn smooth by years of use. At the far end, a modest altar, stone, unadorned. You walk slowly down the center aisle, your footsteps barely audible. The chapel absorbs sound, softens it. You sit upon one of the benches, the wood cool beneath you. Your hands rest lightly on your knees. The candles flicker gently, casting slow-moving shadows across the walls. Nothing dramatic, nothing intense, just soft movement, like breathing. You lower your gaze, not in prayer, but in quiet reflection. You notice the small details, the grain of the wood, the faint scent of melted wax, the tiny imperfections in the stone floor. All ordinary, all calm. The chapel feels untouched by time, or perhaps gently carried by it. You inhale slowly. The air feels different here, cooler, clearer. You exhale, and the sound disappears into the high ceiling. You do not stay long, but you do not rush. Time here does not press against you. It stretches, wide and patient. You rise slowly and walk back toward the door, leaving the candles to burn softly, their flame steady, their light gentle. As you step back into the corridor, the castle feels even quieter, as if the night has deepened and sleep is settling more. You firmly into every stone. You walk further down the dim corridor. The torches here are fewer, their light softer, almost drowsy. The air feels thicker, not heavy, just settled, like dust that has long since chosen its resting place. At the end of the passage, a low wooden door waits, smaller than the others, plainer. You lower the iron latch gently and push. The door opens without complaint. Inside, the servants' quarters. Simple wooden frames hold narrow beds, wool blankets folded carefully, straw mattresses beneath them, a row of small stools against the wall, a shared chest near the center of the room. Nothing elaborate, nothing decorative, only what is needed. The room feels grounded, humble, steady. You step inside slowly. The wooden floor creaks just once, then settles. Moonlight slips through a small window, falling on pale square upon one of the blankets. You walk toward it. Your fingers brush the fabric, coarse but clean. You imagine the quiet rhythm of this room during the day. Soft footsteps, low voices, the folding of linens, the slow tying of laces. But tonight, no voices, no movement, only rest. You sit gently at the edge of one bed. The straw shifts faintly beneath your weight, then becomes still. Your hands rest loosely in your lap. The room feels safe, enclosed, almost cocooned. You breathe in and out, in and out. Your breath matches the quiet, matches the unmoving blankets, matches the steady walls. A faint draft moves through the window. Cool, barely noticeable. It brushes your cheek, then disappears. Nothing lingers long. Everything drifts. You stand slowly and walk along the row of beds, each one only identical, each one waiting. The repetition feels comforting. The sameness feels steady. Bed after bed, blanket after blanket, wood frame after wood frame. Nothing unexpected, nothing sharp, just soft repetition. You reach the small chest in the center. You do not open it. You simply rest your hand upon the lid. The wood is smooth, worn by many hands. You close your eyes briefly, feeling the solid presence beneath your palm, the castle around you, the stone beneath the wood, the earth beneath the stone, everything layered, everything calm. You leave the room as gently as you entered, closing the door without sound. The corridor feels quieter still, as though the night has deepened. You return once more to the spiral staircase. Up and around, up and around. Your steps even slower now, not from effort, but from softness. At the top, instead of entering the chamber, you move toward a narrow outer door. It opens onto a small stone balcony, high above the courtyard. You step outside. The air is cooler now, colder than before. The moon lower in the sky, the stars faint but present. You rest your hands on the stone railing, rough beneath your fingers. Cool, solid. Below, the courtyard rests untouched. The well, the banners, the silent stones, all unchanged. You stand very still, listening to the distant world beyond the castle walls. Perhaps a far-off rustle of trees, perhaps nothing at all. The horizon begins to soften, just slightly, not light yet, but less dark. The kind of change you only notice if you are patient, and you are patient. You have nowhere to be, nowhere to go, only here, only this slow turning. You have night toward morning. The sky deepens into a softer blue. The moon fades little by little. Your breathing slows even further. In and out, in and out. The repetition feels endless, but gentle, like waves that never break loudly. Just roll, and roll, and roll. You close your eyes for a moment, the cool air on your face, the steady stone beneath your hands, the quiet castle behind you, everything steady, everything calm. You open your eyes again. The first faint line of pale light touches the far hills. So subtle, so slow. It almost feels imagined. You remain still, letting the transition happen without urgency, without thought. The castle is rested, and so have you. The night has stretched long and quiet, layer upon layer of stillness. Now the world prepares gently for morning, but not yet, not fully. There is still softness in the air, still heaviness in your limbs, still quiet in the stone. You turn slowly and step back inside, leaving the balcony to the fading stars. You descend the spiral staircase once more, down and around, down and around. Your steps softer than before, as though the stone itself has grown accustomed to your rhythm. The corridor greets you again, familiar now, comforting. The torches burn lower, their flames smaller, more golden than orange. You walk back toward the great hall, slowly, without intention, only movement. The archway rises before you, and beyond it. The hall rests exactly as you left it, but something has changed. Not dramatically, not suddenly, just gently. A faint pale glow slips through the tall windows. The first hint of morning. You step inside. The air feels cooler than before. The embers in the fireplace have dimmed further. Now only a few soft red points remain, like distant stars fading from the sky. You walk toward one of the long tables and rest your hand upon it again. Still cool, still solid, still steady. The repetition of touch feels grounding. The wood unchanged, the stone unchanged, only the light shifting, very slowly, very gently. The moonlight that once filled the hall has softened, and the faint gray of dawn replaces it. Not bright, not yet, just enough to change the shadows. You stand near one of the tall windows and look outward. The courtyard below is clearer now, the well more defined, the stone patterns more visible, the banners still motionless. The sky beyond the walls holds a pale ribbon of light, barely noticeable, unless you are watching carefully, and you are watching carefully, because there is no hurry, no obligation, only this slow unfolding of morning. You inhale deeply. The air feels slightly different, cooler, but lighter, as if the night has exhaled and the day is inhaling, in and out, in and out. Your breathing matches the transition, matches the slow shift of shadow to shape. You walk slowly across the great hall once more, your footsteps no louder than before. The benches remain aligned. The tapestry above the fireplace becomes faintly clearer, its shapes still indistinct, but softer, more visible than in the dark. You pause near the hearth. The final embers glow weakly. One brightens, then dims, then fades into gray. No flame, only warmth slowly leaving. You crouch gently and hold your hands near the stone. There is still a trace of warmth, very faint, but present. You do not add wood. You do not stir the ashes. You let it rest. You let it cool naturally, just as the night is rested, just as you have rested. The hall feels wider now, less shadowed, but still quiet, still untouched. You move toward the far end of the hall, where the large wooden doors stand closed. A faint line of light outlines their edges. Morning, pressing gently against the castle walls. You do not open them. Not yet. There is still softness in the air, still calm within the stone. You turn back toward the center of the hall and sit once more upon a bench. The wood accepts your weight. The silence remains complete. No servants rise, no footsteps echo. The castle lingers in that delicate space, between night and day, between sleep and waking. You close your eyes briefly and listen. The wind has quieted. The torches have nearly burned out. The embers are cold now. Only your breathing fills the space, in and out, in and out. You feel heavier, not from fatigue, but from peace, from the steady repetition of stone corridors, wooden benches, moonlight and torchlight, from the slow rhythm of steps on spiral stairs, from the quiet courtyard, the silent chapel, the resting servants' quarters, all of it layered, all of it gentle, all of it calm. You open your eyes again. The hall now holds a pale blue light, soft, even, without harshness. The world outside prepares to wake, but inside the castle there is still time, still stillness, still quiet. You stand slowly, your movements unhurried. You walk toward the tall wooden doors and rest your hand upon the cool iron handle. You do not pull it yet. You simply stand, breathing, feeling the thickness of the door, the weight of centuries, the steady presence of stone around you. Everything feels complete. Nothing unfinished, nothing demanding. The night has carried you gently through corridor after corridor, room after room, step after step, and now morning waits softly beyond the door. You inhale and exhale, in and out, in and out. You gently pull the door open, not wide, just enough for the morning air to slip inside, cool, fresh, quiet. The first soft bird song reaches you faintly, barely audible. The sky outside pale and calm. You step forward, out into the light, slowly, without rush. Behind you, the castle remains, silent, steady, resting once more, as if it never moved at all, as if the night here were only a quiet breath, taken and released. You step fully outside the castle doors. The morning air greets you softly, cool, clean, untouched. Behind you, the wooden doors close with a gentle weight, not loud, just firm. The sound fades quickly, as though absorbed by the open sky. You stand still for a moment, letting your eyes adjust. The world beyond the castle walls is simple. Rolling fields stretch quietly into the distance. Light mist rests low over the grass. The horizon pale, washed in soft gray blue. You take a slow step forward. Your boots press lightly into the earth. The ground slightly damp from the night. A narrow path leads away from the castle, worn by countless quiet footsteps. You follow it, without thinking, without planning. The castle remains behind you, tall, solid, silent, its towers no longer shadowed by night, but softened by early light. You do not look back often, because there is no need. It is still there. It will remain there, steady. You walk slowly down the path. The grass on either side brushes gently against your boots. Small droplets of dew cling to each blade, catching faint light. Tiny reflections, like scattered fragments of the fading moon. The air feels lighter now, but still calm. No rush of voices, no distant activity, only the quiet stirring of morning. A single bird calls once, then falls silent. You pause briefly, listening, then continue. The path curves slightly, guiding you around a low rise in the land. You feel no urgency, only movement, step and step and step. Your breathing remains steady, in and out, in and out. The rhythm unchanged, as though the castle's quiet still moves within you, as though the spiral staircase continues gently in your memory, up and around, down and around. Even here, outside, the repetition remains. The light grows gradually brighter, but never harsh, never sudden. The mist begins to thin, lifting slowly from the grass, revealing small stones along the path, tiny details, ordinary things. You notice the texture of the earth, the faint pattern of footprints left by others long ago. Soft indentations, barely visible now, time smoothing them, just as time smooths stone. You continue walking, the castle shrinking behind you, but not disappearing. Its outline still present in the corner of your vision, like a memory that does not demand attention, only exists quietly. The breeze shifts slightly, bringing the scent of distant, no trees, and damp soil. You inhale deeply, letting the cool air fill your lungs, then exhale slowly, allowing your breath to dissolve into the morning. In and out, in and out. There is no destination, no village ahead, no road waiting, only the slow continuation of the path, and you, walking gently, carrying the calm of stone walls and torchlight within you. The sky lightens further. Soft pink touches the edge of the horizon, then fades into pale gold. The sun not yet visible, but present in suggestion. The world preparing to wake, but not fully awake, still half dreaming, like you. Your steps remain even, unforced, measured by breath, measured by quiet. You reach a small wooden gate along the path, simple, weathered. It stands partially open. You rest your hand upon it briefly, the wood cool beneath your palm. Then you pass through, without sound. Beyond the gate, the land opens wider, field stretching further. The castle now smaller, yet still visible, still steady. You pause again, just for a moment, and let your gaze rest upon it. The towers no longer shadowed, the stone no longer silver, now pale and gentle, bathed in the earliest light. It feels less imposing, more peaceful, as though it too has relaxed after the night. You turn away slowly and continue down the path, your steps softer than ever, almost weightless. The repetition of movement, of breath, of light growing slowly brighter, begins to blur gently. Thoughts soften, edges smooth. The world feels distant, muted, wrapped in a quiet veil. You do not need to think. You do not need to remember. You only walk and breathe, in and now out, in and out. The rhythm steady, the path unending, the morning unfolding without haste. And as you move further from the castle, you realize the stillness did not belong only to those stone walls. It belongs here too, in the open field, in the soft air, in the slow turning of sky from night to day. It belongs within you, carried quietly, without effort, without weight. You continue walking, slower now, each step lighter, each breath deeper, the mist fully lifted, the horizon brighter, but still gentle, still calm, still steady. And eventually, the path becomes less defined, the grass taller, the world softer, as though edges dissolve, as though the morning itself drifts, and you drift with it, not toward anything, not away from anything, just forward, just breathing, just resting. When you continue walking, but now your steps are slower, softer, almost drifting, the path beneath you becomes less important, the fields less defined, the sky brighter, yet somehow quieter. The sun has not risen fully. It waits just beyond the horizon, and in that waiting, there is a delicate calm. You stop, not because you must, but because stillness feels natural. The air is cool against your skin, gentle, untroubled. You take one slow breath, in and out, in and out. The castle behind you is now only a shape, soft, distant, part of the landscape. Just as the night is now part of memory, you feel no need to return, no need to move forward, only to rest. Right here, in this quiet space between darkness and day. The grass shifts faintly in the breeze. A small sound, then stillness again. Birdsong. Home begins, very softly. One note, then another. Not loud, not urgent, just life slowly waking. But you remain in calm. You close your eyes and let the light touch your face. Warmth beginning to rise, not strong, just enough to soften the cool air. Your body feels heavier now, not tired, just settled, like stone that has rested for centuries, like wood that no longer creaks, like embers that have fully cooled. You take another breath, slower than before, in and out, in and out. The world continues quietly without you. The fields, yes, or the sky, the distant trees, all steady, all gentle. Nothing demands attention. Nothing asks for thought. You feel the ground beneath you, solid, unmoving, supportive. You are safe here, wrapped in quiet, wrapped in stillness, wrapped in the slow rhythm of breath. The castle, what remains behind you, silent, steady, as it has always been, as it will always be. And now, you allow everything to soften. The edges of the world blur gently. The light diffuses. The sounds fade further. Your breathing slows, in and out, in and out. There is no need to walk anymore, no need to observe, no need to imagine, only rest, only the gentle rise and fall of breath. The morning continues, but you drift somewhere softer, somewhere quieter, where stone corridors echo faintly, where torches flicker slowly, where spiral stairs turn endlessly, up and around, down and around. The courtyard rests beneath moonlight. The chapel candles glow gently. The servants' quarters remain still, all of it blending, all of it distant, like a memory dissolving into sleep. You take one last slow breath, in and chew out, and then you let go of the path, you let go of the castle, you let go of the light, and you rest completely, quietly, deeply.